Hello everyone, my name is Carla Blakey and I look forward to speaking with you a little bit about situated cognition. So what exactly is situated cognition? Let's break it down. So we know that situated, this is a verb, so it is located or placed, and we know that cognition, so this is the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thought, experiences, and the senses. So I guess when you put those two together, you get situated cognition, right? I guess, and true, that is what situated cognition is. But let's dig a little bit deeper and talk about situated cognition as a learning theory and how we can use it as college teachers. So, situated cognition as a learning theory. So it states that people's knowledge is constructed within and linked to the activity, context, and culture in which it was learned. So three key areas: activity, context, and culture. It is linked to the activity, context, and culture in which it was learned. So this is what really defines situated cognition and helps differentiate it from other forms of cognition that we've probably learned in other courses. So one of the key principles of situated cognition is that learning is social. We know this, right? We know that we learn better when we learn from one another. We know that we learn from each other's actions, whether that's in the classroom or maybe in the workplace. When you look up situated cognition, it actually talks about how the idea of situated cognition and learning from one another is the best way to learn different languages. So previously there was a picture of a study abroad group. So it states that this idea of situated cognition and this idea of immersion and interaction is truly what makes meaningful learning. Situated cognition also talks about the idea of enculturation. So the enculturation is the gradual acquisition of characteristics and norms of a culture or group by a person, another culture, etc. So when we think of culture, let's think of it really in terms of higher education. So this could be in the culture of a classroom, the culture of a workplace, and only the culture of a workplace, but maybe working in a business environment versus maybe the education environment. So we can't talk about situated cognition without talking about the cognitive apprenticeship. So this is a key strategy to implement situated cognition. So it starts with a novice. So most of us would probably think of this as the student. And then you have an expert. So an expert could be a faculty member, but in most situations it's going to be an outside practitioner. So those two, within apprenticeship type relationship, they're going to have various social interactions. And within those social interactions, the novice is going to gain valuable experience, have key interactions, and then also garner important skills. So when we think about the cognitive apprenticeship, it's important to note a few things. So a cognitive apprenticeship, so this is considered sociocultural learning. Also, when we look at the expert, so the expert is going to be a practitioner of skill. So this is going to be really what, if it's not a faculty member, let's say it's an outside professional, this is going to be our right-hand person in regards to make sure that our students are able to implement what they're learning in the classroom into various settings, particular into the expert setting. And then also the expert, what makes this a learning experience? So they scaffold the novice's learning. So for example, they may start with a training program, then it may graduate to shadowing, maybe they're given various key tasks, and then hopefully by the end of the apprenticeship, they are able to perform a task or a job from start to finish. So let's look at a few examples. So many of us, when we think of cognitive apprenticeship or we hear the word apprenticeship, an image like this comes to mind. Sure, that's true, but again, let's not think of it that way. Others may think of a reality show. Yeah, let's not think of it that way either. So when we think of cognitive apprenticeships in higher education, this could be graduate assistants, whether it's teaching or research. This can be various group projects, particularly and especially if maybe the group projects we have in our classrooms are for outside professionals so that they can actually see their work maybe being implemented. And then, of course, the one that we're probably all familiar with are various internships. And we know these are important in higher education because so many academic programs do require them of their students because we know how valuable they are. So I was lucky enough to visit Penn State's website, and they actually have a wonderful page on situated cognition, and they also provide some key takeaways on what it is that we should learn from situated cognition as higher education professionals. So the first one, knowing, learning, and cognition are all social constructions expressed in actions of people interacting within communities. Construction of meaning is tied to specific contexts and purposes. Remember our three key areas? Knowledge accrues through the lived practices of the people in society. And then, of course, the cognitive apprenticeship. So we know that this is to engage students to participate in a community of practice. So I hope you all enjoyed that quick video. I do have to give credit where credit is due to my various references, as previously mentioned, Penn State, the article Situated Cognition in the Culture of Learning by John Seeley Brown, Alan Collins, and Paul Druid, and then of course learningtheories.com. Thank you all for watching.